Welcome to Mixed Needs Mama podcast, where we talk about parenting mixed needs families and building a family culture that honors God and every member in our family. We're so glad you've joined us today. I'm your host, a mixed needs mama myself, Terrie Hellard-Brown, and I help Christian families in mixed needs homes move from survival and chaos to sustainable peace. Today, we want to talk a little bit about parenting and what we should do the 60 seconds after we lose it. Because let's face it, as much as we try to be self regulated and self disciplined and to set the perfect example for our children, there are times that we blow it. So we've talked about that before. But what do we do in that first 60 seconds after we lose it? I wanted to give you some really practical advice. So the first thing, of course, is to stop the bleeding, so to speak. So we want to just stop. We don't want to fix anything. If we've started this rant, we've started to amp up our voice, we want to just stop. Go silent. If we can walk away for a second, great. But even if we can't, we need to go silent and stop ourselves. As soon as we're able, as soon as we realize we've blown it, stop. We can then fix the problem, we can regroup, we can return to peace, but first we've got to stop ourselves. So the worst thing we can do is to keep on talking while we're still activated, while they're still activated, whatever's going on, we're just going to amp up the situation, so we need to go silent. Number 2, reset our body first, not our mind, because as you well know, when we are triggered, when we are in that emotional state, our mind isn't thinking straight. And our kids can't receive what we're saying because of the same thing. They're not in thinking mode. So we need to reset our body first. Then once our body has calmed down, the brain can shift back to thinking mode rather than emotional mode. So the first thing we could do, we talk a lot about breathing, to take that deep breath and everything. When you take this deep breath, exhale longer than you inhaled. Exhale longer than you normally do. That will do more in 10 seconds than anything else to reset your mental framework. So breathe out really slowly as long as you can. The cool thing is your kids are watching this. They're going to see you stopping yourself when you started to get angry, and you're amping up your voice to then just quiet, and then you breathe out. They're going to see you resetting your nervous system, and your kids will start to learn how to do that as well. Now, if they're in total meltdown mode and they're not able to acknowledge what you're doing, that's a different situation. But if they're paying attention, they're going to notice what we're doing more than anything we say. And they're going to start to learn what to do when they have the same thing happen. Also, if they are amped up too, they will usually start to mimic us. They will start to calm down because we're calming down, thankfully. That usually happens, especially if it's a true autistic shutdown or meltdown. Then they will respond to us calming down as well. If it's just a 2-year-old temper tantrum, sometimes that doesn't calm down quite as quickly, but it still helps. Okay, number 3, name it out loud briefly. Now, the briefly is very important because, again, our words aren't going to be heard, but we can say, I got too loud, that wasn't okay. Just those simple words, I'm stopping, I got too loud, I'm sorry. Or I got too loud, I shouldn't have done that. Or whatever you want to say. But I love the I got too loud, that wasn't okay. Because that speaks their language and it speaks very clearly what we're trying to communicate. So we're not giving a speech, we're not giving an explanation, we're not even giving a real apology at this point. We're just being honest, we're giving a short acknowledgement, and then once everybody's calmed down, we can deal with more information. The main thing is, once we have come back to a place where we can honestly and genuinely say that, I got too loud, that wasn't okay, and we mean it, that authenticity is going to really affect our children. You know as well as I do, neurodivergent children pick up on inauthentic words very quickly. We need to be genuine. transparent, authentic with our kids, always honest with our kids. Otherwise, we're going to push them away. We're going to lose their respect. They're going to feel disrespected, and it's going to hurt the relationship. But if we can be authentic and genuine in our apology, then it's going to be very effective. So I got too loud. That wasn't okay. When we mean it, when we're ready to say it, or I got too loud, I'm sorry, and actually apologize. Number 4, reconnect before you redirect. I've said it many times, what we're doing with our parenting, the relationship is key. The relationship is the main thing that we're trying to build, and we're trying to help our children understand how relationships work. So when we model for them a reconnection, instead of just trying to correct and redirect, but we're really trying to connect with them and to rebuild that relationship that has been hurt by our response, then that speaks volumes to them. We don't want to go into correcting mode if they've done something bad or unacceptable, because they're not ready for that yet. And especially since we lost it, we need to apologize and restore that relationship first. I mean, think about it. In our relationships, in our marriages, in our offices, where we're working and where they're going to be someday as adults, if they can learn that the relationship and repairing that relationship needs to come first before we tackle any other problem, that's going to be amazing for them. That's going to teach them the right priorities and the right way to think of things in the right order, and to really value people, to value relationships. Even if they have a hard time socially, they still value relationships. They really, really do. We want to reconnect first. We can redirect later. That's going to be later. So ways we can reconnect. We can get down to their level, get low, get close, make them feel safe first. Then we can hug them or put our hand on them or just sit by them. Whatever we need to do to help them feel safe and to see that we have gotten control of our emotions and they can get control of theirs. I would wait for 5 minutes or more, depending on what's going on. You can read the situation pretty well usually. And of course, I always say pray so that we have discernment and can understand how our child is feeling a little more. Then we come back to revisiting the problem and talking about what happened. So that would be the 5th thing. When the time is right, come back to the problem. Once everyone is regulated, revisit what happened, both what the child did and what we did. We need to look at all of it and be honest about all of it. The thing is, this is helping them go one step further in repairing the relationship and repairing the situation so that it doesn't happen again, or it happens less frequently, and understanding how to return to peace. And that's the thing we keep talking about. When we talk about the different tips we give and everything, it doesn't mean we're never going to have another blow up or problem, but it does mean that we can return to a place of peace and reconciliation faster and faster and faster. We want to do that and that be our norm. So the thing is, it's one of the most disciple-rich moments that we'll ever have as a parent, when our child is teachable and when we show them that we've taken responsibility and what that looks like. We've given them a model that they can follow and mirror, and we're teaching them real life skills and real life relationship skills and real life living out the Bible skills. So that's what we want to do. We want to model that for them. We want to take these 5 steps right after we've lost it. Number 1, hopefully it's not even 60 seconds of losing it, but 60 seconds after we lose it. We want to stop immediately. As soon as we realize we have gotten away from calm, we want to stop and be quiet. 2, we want to reset our body first so our mind can follow. 3, we want to name it out loud briefly with an apology. I got too loud, it wasn't okay, or I'm sorry. And number 4, reconnect before we redirect. Then number 5, we can redirect. We can reevaluate what happened. And that will help us to restore our relationship with our child. and also model for them the way to reconcile. So, what have you found that helps when you're going through this? Do you have an example that you've seen where you've been able to stop it, or some way that has helped you to reconnect with your child after a meltdown, either yours or theirs or both? We would love to hear from you. The more we share with each other, the more we have tools in our arsenal for parenting a mixed needs family. We need them all. This model here works with your neurotypical or your neurodivergent child because we're talking about when we've blown it and we need to make things right. It is vital, regardless of our child's neurodivergence or neurotypical setting, that we make things right with our kids. That is so important. We're teaching them how to love like Jesus and how to forgive and to reconcile, which is what the Bible is all about, redemption. So, again, we would love to hear from you. You can put any comments or questions under the show notes. We have a comment section at the bottom of the page. You can write your comments or questions there, and we will get back to you. As always, we're excited to see what God is going to do in our families this week. Before we go, I want to tell you about something I created specifically for the parent who feels like they're barely holding it together. Maybe you're tired of yelling at your kids. Maybe you keep shutting down emotionally because it feels safer than engaging. Or maybe you're just constantly bracing, waiting for the next meltdown, the next conflict, or the next thing to go wrong. I've been there, and I know that when you're in that space, the last thing you need is another long program or another book to read. That's why I created the 7 Days to Fewer Blowups at Home Challenge. This is a 7-day reset, just 7 minutes a day, focused on helping you, the parent, reclaim peace in your own heart and mind. Because here's the truth: we can't lead our families well when we're running on empty, reactive, and internally chaotic. This challenge isn't about behavior management. It's not about controlling our kids. It's about anchoring ourselves so that we can respond instead of react, so we can lead with clarity instead of chaos, so we can actually experience peace in our homes again. For just $27, you get 7 days of focused, practical content that will help us shift the way we show up in our homes. Head to terriehellard-brown.com and grab the 7-day challenge. Let's do this together.